What's going on, Filter Sports? Welcome back to another video. It's Jackson here, bringing you my NHL Risers and Fallers for the month of March. These are teams that have been rising or falling recently, or teams that I think will start to rise or fall in the month of March and the remainder of the season. But yeah, let's get right into it with the Risers. Start with the good. First team we got, obviously, the LA Kings. LA Kings are playing great hockey right now. We can see on the right side they have the seventh easiest remaining schedule, so that correlates right to their success for the remainder of the season. They're 29, 17, and 7. They've won 7 of their last 8 games. So, if you've been moneylining the Kings recently, I know I've been on their wagon a lot of the time. It's been good so far. They're a team that is never really highly favored, so to speak. They're second in the Pacific right now, mainly because of Vegas kind of faulting. But still, all the credit goes to the Kings for getting second. I don't think they'll ever be in first. I think Calgary is just too hot, as we'll see in the next one. But yeah, the Kings, we can see their schedule. They do go on a little bit road trip to start March. They got 4 games on the road, 1 back at home, then on the road again to San Jose, but that's pretty close. And they got a nice homestand and then 1 game on the road, but again, not too far. And then they got 4 more games at home and 2 on the road. Just looking at their schedule here, I see a couple games that will obviously be tricky games for them to win. I think they do have the potential though. But, in Dallas, in Boston, against Florida and Colorado, in Vegas, and in Edmonton and in Calgary. All tough matchups. Even Nashville. Nashville's been playing decent hockey as of late. But those are all tough matchups. I know that they'll be able to win games easily. But I expect them to have a pretty good March record and a great rest of the season. I think they finished second in the Pacific. No question. Next, the Florida Panthers. Now, you know, maybe I shouldn't have put them in here because they're not really like a riser. They're literally a 1 seed. They have the best record in hockey. They're an amazing team. They're front runners to win the Stanley Cup, I think, or second. I forget. I think the Avalanche are first right now. But they have the easiest remaining schedule. They're 35, 13, and 5, and they've lost 3 in a row. So this is kind of like not like a reassurance, but just saying the Florida Panthers, as you can see, who they play in March, they are going to have no problem clinching the 1 seed. It's going to be smooth sailing. I think this team is a real threat in the playoffs, mainly because they have the easiest remaining schedule. So, if they need to rest a couple guys down the stretch, I'm sure they're going to have the 1 seed locked by 15 plus points. Maybe not 15, but probably like 12 plus points. We can see their schedule here on the right. It's just a lot of games where I just don't see them losing. I know some of these matchups could be a little bit tough. In Pittsburgh, in LA, obviously we talked about that matchup. In Vegas, in Toronto, maybe in Montreal. They're playing pretty good hockey right now. But other than that, I just don't see them losing to teams like Ottawa, Detroit, Buffalo, Philadelphia. They are shit. Um, Anaheim, Chicago. So, the Panthers, they're going to clinch the 1 seed. They have it so clear already, but I'm just letting you guys know that if you want to bet on a team to, I don't know if you can bet on a team to clinch the 1 seed in their division. Actually, you can. I know you can. Panthers is a for sure lock. I'd put a lot of money on that. And next is the Flames. Another kind of reassurance one. I'm just getting out there. They have the 5th easiest remaining schedule. They're 31, 14, and 6 at first in the Pacific. I'm mainly putting here because I think that they are going to win the Pacific. It's just no question. At this point, I think Vegas is not playing good hockey, and I think the Kings will hold down the 2 seed quite well. But I think Calgary is going to run away with this Pacific Division, and fast. We can see their schedule. The month of March is a little tricky month. I think this is their hardest remaining month, and then April is really easy. Um, but they have some pretty tough matchups in Minnesota, in Colorado, Edmonton, Tampa, in Colorado again. In Vancouver is not easy right now. Edmonton, Colorado, and the Kings. So, you know, when you got to play Colorado 3 times in a month, 2 of them being in Colorado, that's pretty tough. But other than that, I mean, it's smooth sailing. They'll be able to handle Montreal, Detroit, New Jersey, Buffalo, San Jose, Arizona. So they'll be just fine. And then a couple honorable mentions. The Montreal Canadiens are playing great. I mean, it's it's weird that I'm putting this in them in this category, but they've won 5 games in a row. They're playing good hockey. I don't think they'll make the playoffs, but I mean, this is a team that they do have a pretty tough remaining schedule, but this is a team that can scrap together some wins just for the hell of it. They're playing fun hockey. It's good for them, and you never know what Montreal could do in any game. And Vancouver. Vancouver is playing amazing right now. I probably should have put them in instead of probably Calgary or Florida, but they have a really tough remaining schedule. I do have to say that. But they're playing amazing. They're able to score a lot. It's weird. I mean, I think they beat the Rangers like 5-2 last night, so they're able to score a lot. But now we're getting into the shitters, in my opinion. Not shit teams or clubs or players, but just you'll see. Um, a faller that I have, a team that's already falling, and I honestly think they might continue unless they fix their offensive inconsistencies, is the Washington Capitals. Third toughest remaining schedule. That's not good for a team that's been struggling lately and still needs to win games to get into the playoffs. They won 4 of 12 games in January and 4 of 9 in February. So they're 8 and 13 since the new year. That's not a winning record, and that's not a playoff record for hockey. So they have a lot to turn around in the month of March. They play Toronto today. So, if they lose that, they'll be 4 of 10 in February. Who knows what's going to happen there, but Toronto's goalkeeper issues continue to reach the public. Everyone's kind of noticing now. So who knows how that's going to game is going to go, because we have a team that is allowing 4, 5, 6, 7 goals a game, and we have a team that has been really struggling on the offensive side in the Capitals. So who knows how that game's going to go today, but this Capitals team, I could easily see not winning very many games remaining of the season. Perfect. Yeah, I forgot I put their schedule in here. This is just proving the point. I mean, if we look at their schedule, I don't see. I mean, I can see them winning 4 games, to be honest, maybe 5. But Carolina, and then a 3-game road trip in Calgary, in Edmonton, in Vancouver. Those are all 3 really tough games right now, especially Vancouver's playing amazing at home. And then in Carolina, Dallas, St. Louis, and Carolina again. So, I think they'll be able to get by New Jersey, Buffalo, Seattle, and New York easily. But other than that, I mean, and maybe Columbus, but it's in Columbus. Other than that, it's going to be a tough month of March for the Capitals if they don't turn things around. I would be surprised if they win 6 games this month. I think they play 14 games. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I would be surprised if they win 6 games. Next, another team that not looking too good right now, could be a team that falls off a little bit, is the Minnesota Wild. Now they do have the 18th toughest remaining schedule, about middle of the pack. So not too hard of a schedule. 31, 16, and 3. They've lost 5 of their last 6. That's not what you want out of a playoff caliber hockey team like the Minnesota Wild, but they're a good team. They're going to figure things out. I know they do. Hockey teams go in slumps sometimes. I'm just putting them on here because I don't know how long this slump is going to last. They're only 1 point above Nashville at the moment and 4 points above Dallas. Nashville, I believe, could have taken the lead yesterday when they played. Did they play yesterday? Sunday or Saturday, but they lost. So this is Minnesota's schedule for the month of March, which is decent. I think they have a lot of spaced out games. Like they have plenty of rest in between games. They only play. I think they only play two back to backs. Just looking through this. They play three back to backs. But still, they have a lot of games. How many games do they have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, so they play 16 games in the month of March. But most of them are really spaced out, which is good. I mean, they have a lot of days where they have 3 games in between. Yeah, the middle of March, they have a lot. It goes March 13th, 16, 19, 21, 24, 26. Anyways, but 16 games, so you would hope that a team like Minnesota, playoff team, out of 16 games, they'd probably win 10, or 11 would be good. That's 60%, a little bit above 60%. And some of these games, they're going to have to scrap for, to be honest. I mean, Calgary, Dallas, the Rangers, Nashville, Boston, Vegas, Vancouver, Colorado, Pittsburgh. So, couple iffy ones there, but, they play the Flyers twice, which is a free win at this point. But might be a team that falls a little bit. And a team that I have absolutely fallen off the place, not the place, the face of the earth are the Buffalo Sabres. They have the toughest remaining schedule in the NHL, and it's not even close. It's really tough. They're 16, 30, and 8, and they went 2 and 8 in the month of February. So, January 28th, there still were hope for Buffalo. Like they could have made a run, but they went 2 wins and 8 losses. So, they were 14 and 22. So, there's still hope there, but not when you only win 2 games in February. No remaining hope. And yeah, here's this. I mean, you look on here and tell me how Buffalo is going to win 2 games in the month of March out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. You look at this schedule and tell me how Buffalo is going to win 2 games in the month of March. I don't see it happening. In Toronto versus Minnesota, Los Angeles, Florida, Vegas, Toronto. In Edmonton, in Calgary, in Vancouver, Pittsburgh, Capitals, in New York, in Chicago, at home versus Winnipeg. I mean, I can see them beating Chicago, but other than that, and maybe Winnipeg, because they're not playing too good right now, I don't see them winning any of these games. Like, I know they will win some, because that's just how sports works, but I mean, it's literally the definition of a tough schedule right there for you. So, my 4 teams to fade in the month of March. I'm talking bet against these teams pretty much in any game unless they're playing each other or they're playing a team worse than them. The New York Islanders. I just don't like this team at all. They're not playing good hockey. All their wins come against teams that have below 500 records just like them. They aren't beating any good teams, and they have a pretty tough remaining schedule. Buffalo, I already talked about them. Detroit, they have a really tough remaining schedule as well. I think they're probably, well, maybe Anaheim. But Anaheim, I don't think is playing well at all. I mean, pretty sure they just lost 4-0 to the Islanders last night, so that kind of shows you already. But I don't think any of these teams are going to be safe to bet on in the month of March. I would bet against them in pretty much every single game. And then my 4 teams, that I want to ride with in the month of March are the Rangers, Panthers, Flames, and Senators. Senators have the second easiest remaining schedule behind Florida. Calgary has the 5th. I think the Rangers have like the 9th or 10th easiest remaining schedule. But the Rangers are playing great. Anytime Igor is in the net, I mean, they're winning, or it's the final score is 1-2, or 1-0 or 2-1. But these teams are great. I think Ottawa has the chance to play decent hockey. Obviously, they're the second easiest remaining schedule, so there is a chance that they win more games than they're expected. That's kind of why I say ride with them. But yeah, that's everything for you guys. Hope you guys did enjoy. Bet against these teams, bet for these teams, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.